Hello, Facebook friends, family, Epic supporters. I'm joining you again. I'm at the Al-Rasheed Hotel. Tour. Just a chance to see a little bit of the nightlife here in Baghdad. I'm at Tahrir Square, which is very famous. I'm going to kind of give you... Hello, friends, family, Epic supporters. Special shout out to my children, my son and my daughter. My son being 7 years old, so I always want to share a little bit of Iraq with him so he better understands the nature of my work. And my daughter, but she's 3, so she's got some years before she really understands. So it's been 18 years since I last was in Baghdad, so a lot of what I'll be sharing today is kind of differences between what I saw then and what I see today, and also with my conversations with civil society organizations, with young people, ordinary Iraqis, even the hotel owner. But right now I just want to give you a little bit of a walking tour of Baghdad. So let me kind of take you on a walk. Today, being the 15th year anniversary of the beginning of the US-led invasion, is this a day that Iraqis recognize as a big anniversary? Not so much. I think it was much more about April 9th, around April 9th, when it's kind of seen that the regime fell, the fall of the regime. That's much more seen as an anniversary. I think that this anniversary is something that is more recognized by Americans as, the beginning of the US-led invasion, US-led involvement, military involvement in Iraq, and all of what that has meant. It is definitely safer. There's a strong presence of police, of security forces. There's also a strong presence of militias, which often is a problem because of how militias often are used in political ways. If you have the right connections, sometimes it can mean a real danger to anybody that crosses your path. So it is definitely a problem, and the lack of rule of law is an ongoing problem. So you can now tell where I am. I'm at Tahrir Square, which is very famous. I'm going to kind of give you a picture of the memorial to the formation of the Republic. I believe this was built in 1962, and it memorializes the 1958 revolution that toppled the monarchy and established the Republic of Iraq, initially under Qasem, and then quick history lesson after Qasem. Of course, there was a decade of military coups, one after another, the Baathists being in the mix, and eventually the Baathists coming out on top. And then then you had the ascendancy of Saddam Hussein and Saddam Hussein's regime, Baathist regime. So when you look from Tahrir Square, if you go forward, kind of past that, or to the, as you're looking at it, as I'm looking at it, it would be to the left of that building, is the Jumhariya Bridge. Jumhariya Bridge goes from this side of Baghdad across the Tigris River and to the other side of Baghdad, and that is where you have the international zone or green zone. And Jumhariya means republic, which makes sense. It fits with Tahrir Square and this very famous monument to the formation of the republic. Just some observations, differences between now and 18 years ago when I was last here. When I was here like 18 years ago, there was just a lot more public order and the way people drove. Now I think it's a little bit crazier, and I hear this from Iraqis themselves, talking about just being sometimes frustrated with how people drive and no really stopping for stoplights and things like that. You didn't have that as much under Saddam. So, no big surprise with an authoritarian regime. Like, yes, more public order, not so much in terms of freedom, serious human rights violations and all of that. Al-Rasheed Hotel, still here, and I just wanted to show you around a little bit. So this is a luxury hotel, the only one that's inside the green zone. Of course, that means they have a little bit of a monopoly here, and the price is ridiculous. But what I wanted to just mention is this hotel has been here, of course, for decades. When I was here 18 years ago and 20 years ago, I had meetings here at the Al-Rasheed. There was I'm just showing you that there had been a mural there of George Bush Sr., which was kind of juvenile, but the whole idea was that you had to walk on top of George to be able to get into the hotel. Having been, when I was, in the Army, I mean, he was my commander-in-chief. I'm not going to walk on top of the commander-in-chief. So, yeah, I think it creates a bit of awkwardness for anybody actually entering the hotel, which was by design, but also a little juvenile. But that was kind of the hostility of Saddam, and it was really part of the whole, I think, PR campaign. It was blame America for everything. The reason I wanted to be out here now, and of course there's, is I actually wanted to show you just the natural beauty of Iraq, and you can definitely see it here. So this is how they've landscaped the grounds around the Al-Rasheed Hotel. You can see a little bit of nature there. I think that's called that bird right there is called a magpie. I have to consult with my mother and her birding expertise. But yeah, it's just beautiful, and you'll see a lot of areas like this along the Tigris River. In the major cities, people really have a lot of pride for their gardens. Yeah, there's a lot of beauty in Iraq. Okay, I'm gonna put you back in my duffel bag, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye.